One mistake in your genetic code could kill you. That's a fact of life. You exist thanks to your genetic code. We actually learned about the genetic code in the 1960s. If you're in your late 20s, your parents were likely born. It's also when the US was in the midst of the civil rights movement, not long ago at all. There are some diseases humans experience due to environmental factors and pathogens. Others are brought upon by defects in the genetic code. I imagine you've heard at least of one of the commonly known monogenic diseases. Some classic examples are sickle cell anemia, cystic fibrosis, polycystic kidney disease, Tay-Sachs, and DMD. These are fairly rare since they're genetic. They're simply rare in nature thanks to recombinant DNA amongst father and daughter cells during sexual reproduction. Monogenic diseases are only passed down through generations. These diseases are not airborne or contractable. Monogenic diseases all have different symptoms. If you believe you may be at risk of any of these diseases, the CDC, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the NIH, the National Institutes of Health, and WHO, the World Health Organization, offer great resources to learn more about each disease. These websites take you through the symptoms, treatment, and life expectancy associated with each disease. Almost every monogenic disease is associated with a different gene. They arise out of single point mutations within a single gene. The genetic code is a string of nucleotides represented by the letters A, C, T, and G. There are endless combinations of different lengths that tell the story of your life. This code defines what the color of your eyes are, the color of your hair, how your immune system responds to pathogens, and what diseases you're genetically disposed to. This string of nucleotides comes in chunks and is called a gene. We humans each have close to 20,000. Each gene is responsible for a small part of your existence by working with one another through chemical signaling to achieve a larger function. If one of these genes malfunctions, the function the gene is involved with may no longer work. There are a few ways genes malfunction. One of them is point mutations. There are single letters in a gene that are, for whatever reason, not the letter they should be. An example is the change from an A to a T. We understand that it is not the letter it should be because we can uncover the exact string of letters in a gene and compare it to other people. I'll focus on sickle cell anemia and cystic fibrosis to keep things simple. According to the NIH, sickle cell anemia is a genetic condition brought upon by a mutation in the gene that encodes for the protein that carries oxygen in your blood. The affected protein is called hemoglobin. One single mutation changes the 3D shape of hemoglobin, causing this classic sickle shape. This shape means that oxygen cannot be carried as efficiently, and those afflicted are usually often short of breath and suffer from anemia, recurring pain, and immunodeficiency. They may also experience organ damage and early death. The NIH says cystic fibrosis is a mutation in the gene that encodes for the cystic fibrosis transmembrane conductance regulator, otherwise known as the CFTR protein. This protein helps maintain fluid balance and electrolyte transport. Cystic fibrosis breaks this function, causing mucus to become thick and sticky. As this mucus builds up, it causes blockages, damage, or infections in affected organs. Before treatments, those with cystic fibrosis died in childhood. Nowadays, people may lead normal lives, living past their 60s, thanks to modern medicines, proper nutrition, and lung transplants. Current treatments aimed at monogenic diseases are usually symptom-based. Antibiotics are a common medication to aid their immunodeficiencies alongside painkillers. These are temporary. Advances in modern medicine mean we may soon start curing monogenic diseases on a broad scale. Gene therapy is a fast-moving biomedical field that aims to fix the single-point mutation. The affected gene is fixed through various methods, such as vaccinations, blood transfusions, and bone marrow transplants. Afterwards, the person is then cured of their monogenic disease. As you begin to settle into your adult lives, you may be planning for children, and genetic screening and diagnostic tests may not be at the forefront of your mind. Monogenic diseases may skip generations, meaning you and your grandparents would have it, but not your parents. Sometimes the diseases are seen in all members of the family, and sometimes they're seen seldom through generations. Understanding your family's genetic history, including the other parent of your child, is important to understand what kind of life your child may lead. If your family has lived near modern healthcare for a few generations, you may already know what diseases you're at a higher risk to. But if you don't, there are diagnostic tests that can be performed on the fetus. Some tests were previously regarded to be dangerous, but as advances are made in the technology, it is now safer than ever. There are different tests that can be done throughout the pregnancy. Speak to your OBGYN about your options. Some of these monogenic diseases don't show physical symptoms until later in life. Understanding what may happen and what you can do about it is imperative to keep you healthy and cared for. If you're not interested in having children, learning about monogenic diseases is great for you to understand what a close friend experiencing a monogenic disease is going through and how to respectfully react. Your genetic code, the reason you exist, dictates what diseases you're prone to, and with today's scientific advancements, we can learn how to mitigate disease. Understanding how diseases like cystic fibrosis and sickle cell anemia occur helps to gain a better understanding of what afflicted people experience and what it takes to treat these diseases. If you're not personally affected by it, your family members and loved ones might. Learning what is going on is the best way to connect with them and offer the support they need.